high. If I can see right through it, so that's the calcium test. Then I move on to the adrenal, which takes more reagents. So we're going to start with the potassium chromate. This is only one drop. Drop goes in. And this is testing adrenal stress. Then we're going to do 10 drops of urine. So the same one. And if you get one more drop or a couple, it does not matter.
Yeah, we saw that.
All right. And then now we want to see this turn brick red. So we're going to start adding drops of silver nitrate until this turns brick red. Sometimes it doesn't, and I always stop at 40. If it goes over 40, there's no point of testing anymore because they are maxed out. So, 1. You always mix it around. 2, 3, 4. This is not brick red. A lot of people sometimes, they're asking, you know, what is brick red? This is not brick red. We're going to keep going. That's brick red. For everybody, needs to see.
There is a difference.
Big difference.
Yeah. And how
But
many
people,
drops?
this was 8.
And what was that you put in it?
This is silver nitrate.
Silver nitrate.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
How much urine was in there originally? 10 drops urine. Thank you.
Approximately 10.
1 or 2 don't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. So next, I'm going to go on to the urinary sugar test. So you're going to add 35 mLs of distilled water. I like to use a urine cup. It's easy. And then you're going to use 1 pipette of urine. So you're going to draw it up. Put it in there.
Which one are you doing?
The electrolytes.
Does it have a fill line and how much volume you actually put in there on that pipette?
Yes, you never want to fill up the top of the
But-
pipette. Just stop right here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So then you're going to turn this
How
on.
much water was there?
35. Mm-hmm. So you're going to put it in here. You're going to stir it around.
What tool is that?
This is your electrolyte meter, which I think. Okay, so I don't think this is calibrated right, but I'm going to go off with my instinct and I think it's 3.70. And remember, he said times that by 40. So,
Quick question about the urine. Does the patient collect the urine, first morning urine at home
first
and bring it in?
morning's urine. So this was not first morning's urine, so I wouldn't take these results 100%.
But so if they have a midday appointment, if it sits in a jar for an X amount of time, is that going to still be a good sample for you to
Right,
test?
yeah, I would actually tell them to put it in the refrigerator
Okay.
after so many hours. So his, so 3.6 times 40, that's not right.
You
Okay.
said 3.7.
1440.
So 1440? Okay. So 1440 for the results. So this guy seems to be in pretty good shape.
The sheet says times 40, is that what you did?
Yes. Now I'm going to move on to the urinary sugars, but you get this cool gadget in your kit. And on the little screen, you're going to place 2 drops. So, and again, while Dr. Bob's speaking with the patient, I'm doing this. put it down. Now you're gonna look at it from the light. And his are actually a 3. This one's for your urinary sugars.
Clean that one.
Run it under hot water,
And that's it?
and that's it.
What about the electrolyte?
Run it under hot water as well.
And that's the one that you use modifier for?
Yes. So here's a trick. If your electrolytes are over 14, we have this cool little chart. It's a conversion chart. So his are 14.4, so I'm going to go at the 14, and I'm now at 0.5. So whatever number I get off of the urinary sugar, I'm going to place it down first, which his was a 3. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm going to take, since his electrolytes were over 14, I'm going to take what 14 is, and I'm going to now subtract those numbers.
Where do you get the chart?
We can email it to you. And then so it's 0.5, and this is going to give him his accurate total of urinary sugars.
So that chart's not in the kit.
It's in your book, yeah.
Maybe Bob can put it on the agenda.
Okay. I'll make a mental note of that. Okay. Yes, you're getting a copy of this tomorrow.
Okay.
What I typed out for you guys. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to urinary nitrates and ammonia. The nitrates you have to be really careful for. Only can use a glass pipette for this. It will eat away its acid. So, and this is an indicator for inflammation. So you're gonna place 4 drops in one of these wells, which you get in your kit as well. And then we're going to move on to the ammonia and place it on the other side of the well. And I'm going to show you guys this. 4 drops. Throw away, I always throw away that pipette because you have to mix up the universal extracting solution, which goes into the middle well. And you're going to place 6 drops of this in the middle. And then you're going to place 1 drop of urine in the middle well. Mix it. And then place 1 drop on each side. And now we're going to time it for 5 minutes. What I typically do for Dr. Bob is I write the time that he needs to check it. So we'll go ahead and check this at 5:55. Well, mine's 5:58. Okay.
You don't mix them or anything?
And at first, the nitrates might not show up, but we want to see a blue. Now I'm going to move on to the urine chem strip. This takes very quickly. That's why it's the last one.
So that's pretty quick.
It is. Oh, let's get a napkin so I can dab it off, because if not, the urine is going to start running and so I'm going to wait for about 30 seconds before I start checking it, which you guys have a little chart on this bottle.
One quick note on that.
Yes.
The test restricts. They do expire, so if you don't use them, keep track, write the date on it so that you,
Absolutely. I want to show y'all something. I've heard a couple times, didn't know about this, but I would always open it up. Well, they would go bad quickly, and I did not understand why. Punch a little hole in it so the air doesn't get to it too quickly. Preserves them a little longer. All right.
I keep mine in the fridge. Yeah,
So now
slows the K down.
I'm going to start comparing. He has negative on the glucose. Sugar's good. Negative on bilirubin. negative on ketones. And if he had a little ketones in his urine, it's okay. He just, his body burns fat around the clock. Now his specified gravity, I'm going to measure that at 1.005, which needs to come up a little bit.
And what is that indicator?
The,
Oh, heavy.
that's the strength of the kidneys to concentrate toxins. Mhm. No blood.
But morning urine would be normally be heavier though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Morning urine is way more dynamic than the fifth urine of the day. Protein, he has none. It's negative on nitrates. None. But I do see some white cells. So he probably has a little bit of inflammation going on, which is a trace. It's not heavy. If it was heavy, it would be dark purple. So normally, if people are spilling, white cells in their urine, most of the time, they're going to have high nitrates. But if the nitrates are not high and they're, low, that means that their system's a bit burnt out, usually. Then, I would then move on to the iodine testing, which, I place on their wrist, and I tell them. Typically, we want it to, stay 6 to 8 hours. Sometimes we've had patients walk out of the office, within 20 minutes, it's gone. They come back, it's already gone. Well, we load them up, as Dr. Bob would say, with iodine. But we like to see it 6 to 8 hours just because it plays a big, role with, hormones and thyroid and so on and so forth. So next, I would go on to the pH. Who wants to be my person that I test?
Quick question about the thyroid, about the iodine. Is if Dr. Bob's with the patient, you just go in there and swab it on him, or how do you handle that?
No, I place it on there. A little bitty square.
So, but you just break into the appointment he's with the patient and do it?
Huh?
If he's with the patient, you just break into the meeting and do it with the patient?
I'm actually in the room the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If he's not, in the room, I have to
All right.
kind of step up to the plate.
Thank you.
So, since you're right in front of me, I'm going to do yours. Okay, so I'm going to tell them there are 7 of these. The first one's your baseline. So you're going to place it on your tongue. You're not going to touch your lips just because it has a different pH levels. Place it on your tongue, push to the roof of your mouth, and place it right back down for your baseline. So go ahead and do that.
There's no number of seconds or nothing to.
Just place it back down. So I'm immediately going to read it, which his comes in at a 7.0.
You didn't get it all the way wet, so it doesn't matter, huh?
No, it does not matter. And sometimes you'll know where they touch their lips because it's really dark, and at the very top, it's yellow. So you always want to more or less, test the top.
Does time of day matter for when you test pH?
Yeah, we like it in the morning, no brushing the teeth. We tell them we do not want you to brush your teeth, just because for the baseline purpose only.
Do you ever see 2 colors like at the top? Do you ever see that, like green and yellow together?
Yep,
What do you
and
use?
I tested green.
Okay.
So if I have, because I do see spotted ones, but, as Dr. Rakowski told me, always test for the color that you do see. So I will. So I would test that. Now, I would tell them, this is lemon water, so I put half distilled water and half lemon juice. What this is going to do is deplete your baseline. So go ahead and...
5 minutes is up.
Oh, 5 minutes.
Oh. My cough. So go ahead and swish in your mouth for 5 seconds and then swallow.
5 seconds?
Yes. Some people make them do it for 15. Personally, I do not want nothing in my mouth that's sour for 15 seconds.
Do you use lemon like concentrate or squeezed
Yes.
real lemon?
No, concentrate lemon juice. Followed by immediate strip. Perfect. Now, what he has done is depleted his baseline. back to where it's just yellow. So every minute, which I want you to look at your watch, and every minute, I want you to test the next strip. His next strip should have color. Now this is going to determine how acidic or how alkalized his system is. Sometimes people have a really good baseline, but they do not bounce back, you know. So now we're going to go over here and read his ammonia nitrates. Normally Dr. Bob does this, but sometimes he'll step out of the room and go adjust the patient. I'm left to do it, and I do. So you're going to swirl it around. And I'm going to give him, how often do you train? 5 times a week? You need to start supporting your nitrates. So I'm going to give him a 6, and then I would give him a 10. So if he trains for 5 times, or trains 5 times a week, they should be at a 14, and that'd be okay. But if he trained none and his marker was at 14, that's a problem. He has whole body inflammation, which we're already seeing him spill a little bit of white cells. But again, this is not your first morning's urine, so I wouldn't take it 100%.
And he's British.
Excuse me, I am too.
Oh, just teasing him.
And you guys are more than welcome to interrupt me at any time to ask questions.
He's British. He's from England, I'm from Scotland. Oh, okay. There's a big difference. Oh, yeah.
And from there, you know, I would finish testing his pH.
Sorry for him.
The blood would be done by now. And that's how the testing pretty much goes in general. Now, in between, patients are going to have questions. They're going to ask you, what does that mean? But, well, you have a great response. So he's bouncing back pretty good. He had the spotted one like you asked about, which I rated at a 6.8. Now I'm going to go ahead and rate this one at a 7.2.
So you read all 7 strips, you mark all of them?
Yes, ma'am. I do. I'm not sure what Dr. Bob would say about that, but he would put you on some plant nutrients for sure. Because your baseline wasn't as strong as what it's coming back. So the baseline plays a huge role in, you know, our alkalinity and everything. So,
20 servings a day.
I feel sorry for those patients, to be honest. They look at me, 20 servings, yeah. And then just mix color of vegetables for a week. It's pretty challenging, but they do it.
Maybe I counted on my phone too long.
No, you're fine.
Excuses.
He's just looking for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you found the pH strips go bad at all?
No,
Okay.
not in my 3 years that I've been with
Because
Dr.
I was
Costa.
checking, thanks for talking to me on the phone a while ago.
Mhm.
So I started checking pH and I had good results. And like the last 3 or 4 times I've done it, it's all been purple. It's like,
Yes.
I mean,
Well, they need plant nutrients, like how Dr. Rakowski will say it's like on the bell-shaped curve, and too high is not a good thing. Some people are like, you know, my pH is so, you know, it's great, it's not acidic or anything, but if it's too dark, I've never seen Bob say, oh, high five on that. No, he's
How about him?
pumping them up
I
with
mean,
green.
they were
Yeah,
like,
eight-
you know, way,
eight
I mean,
servings
you
a
know,
day of
not
that
even
stuff.
like 6.8, they were great.
Right, and remember, you know, the
Stuff.
urine pH level needs to be acidic. A lot of people mix that up with saliva pH. This is not the same as blood pH. So don't get it mixed up, I would say, because I've had a lot of people call at the office asking that question, and it's nothing the same.
You comment on the nitrate thing you just said about him working out.
Uh-huh,
So you said that if he's working out that much, then you expect it to be higher than it was?
Yes.
Just because he's catabolizing a little more?
right.
or-
So, you know, when you're working out, you're building up inflammation, but it's good, you know, in that circumstance. But if you're training really hard and your nitrates are as his, we would start saying, you know, your system's a little burnt out. We see it with our Olympian athletes. They'll come in, they're really acidic, you know, they train so hard, nitrates are low, they have protein in their urine, you know, and they're really just falling apart. So what we do is we support their, their nitrate levels with arginine, Argincore, and Hawthorne is a really good one as well. And then we, put them on a good detox, Ultra Clear plus pH, hit it hard for 7 days, and they come back. I mean, and with that week, in that week of detox, they hit their personal best. I mean, their PRs go up. But when they, don't get me wrong, when they're checking out, they're like, there's no way I can do this. I'm not going to be able to train. How am I supposed to work out? I mean, they train every day, but they do it and they, really do good for themselves. So, but yeah, diabetics. My mom is a diabetic, and when I tested her nitrate, because when you're a diabetic, you normally have whole body inflammation. Well, I was expecting to see hers at 14. Hers was at 2. I was like, what's going on here? It's that bell-shaped curve again. Her system was burnt out. So, just because you have a diabetic in your office, that's not always going to be a high inflammation reading. So, but that's literally testing, we get it done. I mean, we have sometimes we can have 4 testing patients back to back. We give it an hour because patients, after their results are done, they're like, now tell me what you just found, So we definitely have to give them the report. We tell them about their phase angle, their BIA, muscle to frame, global health marker, the whole 9 yards, and they walk out, understanding. And if anything, call me. And we give them a sheet, a 7-day detox form, which I can tell Dr. Mikowski to give you guys too, so y'all can follow. And they follow it, but it's pretty simple. And it's very effective. Here's another thing that just comes to mind. In a detox. So they might go for a week of a detox, come back and say, I'm feeling good, but not 100%. We might retest their, liver enzymes, or we might do the urine chem strip, and it might be bad. It might be worse than what they started off with, but it's okay. It's a good bad, because you got to get, sometimes you got to get worse before you get better. And Dr. Bob will say, oh, that's a good thing. They're like, what do you mean it's a good thing? Like, I'm miserable. Well, all in all, those are the ones that are feeling 95% better in a month from rheumatoid arthritis. Yes?
What are you charging for this battery of testing?
For an hour, we charge at our office $395 for full testing. That's a new patient testing. Then we have follow-up. So our full testing for a new patient's an hour, but retest is half an hour. Same thing done. It's just you don't get as much time and you pay a lower price.
What's the cost on that?
$300.
So when you say there's an hour the first time and a half hour, does that mean the tests take longer, or they're just spending more time with the doctor?
They're spending more time. Dr. Rakowski will educate his patients. Literally will bring his computer, play the videos he plays for you guys, and he teaches them. He will tell them doctor means teacher. So what I'm about to do is teach you. And sometimes I even tell patients, you might want to bring a recorder because you're about to learn a whole bunch. And so they do. Or they bring their phone or what have you. But the nitrate right here, after you're done, you need to put baking soda to neutralize it because it is acid. And you wait about 5 minutes to dispose.
Where are you adding that baking soda to?
To the nitrates, because if not, it will burn a hole in anything it touches.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's the only test that needs to be neutralized.
So you guys are doing this on all new patients, regardless if they're coming to you for musculoskeletal issues?
Nope, we don't do that. No, musculoskeletal is totally different. We have a charge for that, and then we have in-office, biodegrade testing. So
After you add baking soda?
after he reads it, nope. Yeah. Yep.
How long till you do see them again?
A week. So full testing, we'll do it. He'll put a good protocol, an aggressive protocol most of the time, and I'll have a week follow-up. And what we'll do then is let's say that his stress numbers or the person's stress numbers are out of whack, liver enzymes are high. You bring them back in a week, retest those. The only thing that we do not typically test in a week is pH, because that's a harder marker to move. In a month we would, in 3 weeks we would, but not in a week. But whatever the stressors were that we found, through testing, we have them come back in a week. And we have individual charges for each test. We have an office visit, so.
You mentioned something about blood.
Mhm.
So you do some type of blood test?
Yes. We test their hemoglobin A1C. We do their ALT, AST. And we do their lipid glucose. So lipid glucose, triglycerides, HDL, LDL, and then the total cholesterol triglyceride, or the HDL ratio.
Are those finger prick tests or?
No, the ALT, AST, and the hemoglobin can be, but it's pretty hard, so we just draw. We draw about a couple cc's of blood.
And so you have a little lab right
Yeah,
there? That
yeah, within tests, the blood tests come back in 5 minutes.
So
they're right on the spot.
So you draw a whole blood tube and then use that blood for those finger prick wells?
Right, we, in a little syringe, normally it's like a 3 cc syringe, fill it up, put it in the little, the tubes, and then, it's a little plunger. It's called.
Okay.
And then the hemoglobin A1C is just, little, it's hard to explain, but, it's right on the spot,
Yep.
results.
Do you guys test for vitamin D? You probably have to send that one.
That's the send out, yes. And that's what we do, anything additional that we do, we send out of the lab, but we draw in office and then, send it to the lab.
This is all the stuff you do on brand new patients, and then from there you kind of decide what. Oh.
Yeah, so if they give us intake forms and, they're hitting, or they have inflammation of some sort, we're gonna send them out for a CRP, CRP, sed rate, vitamin D, hydroxyvitamin D25. We'll do, those tests, and he'll see what's going on. Or if he has a little more of a concern before, we do get him on a strong protocol, he might even wait, have him start something, but let's say they have a thyroid issue or he's suspecting a thyroid issue, he'll address it in that way, but not as aggressive until he does get the results back to confirm. Yes?
As students, since we can't really utilize this as much right now,
Yeah.
is there a shelf life on all of the things in the kit? Or like if we bought it now and we use the whole thing for like?
No, actually, it stays pretty good. The only thing that I would be a little concerned of is the vitamin C reagent. But
And
call
then
it.
the pH.
The test strips.
The test strips, yes, the test strips would definitely go bad if you open them up. Just because the ketone starts, turning colors.
They have an expiration date.
Yeah. Even if, they'll even go bad before the expiration date sometimes. And I found that when I opened the whole thing. So that's why I always put a little hole. But yeah, the other reagents, I've had, some for like 6 months because they only need 1 drop,
What do you ask people to do before they come in the first time? They bring the urine? Is there
Absolutely,
anything
there is pre-instructions. We tell them they are gonna have a 12-hour fast. No food, no water. We want their first morning urine after 4 a.m. No brushing your teeth, no lotions, and that's about it for the pre-instructions. So, what if I give you my urine after 2? I figure I might as well take it. I might not get up. No, we want the one after 4 a.m. So, or they might forget and give us a second one. We do with what we can get, because some people are like, I can't go again. So.
Is there another manual with all these different tests and explanations and protocols on it tomorrow, or?
Yes, he is actually going to go over the protocols and stuff like that. So if you say, what if my, patient has high nitrates, what do I do? What if it's whole body inflammation? What do I do? He'll definitely get you on, what you would do.
Okay, but I'm asking, is this in paper or is it online or?
It's going to be, I believe, on paper, but as far as how the testing does go, like how to perform each test, you'll get it in paper.
Do you guys do allergy testing too?
He does not believe in it. He does not believe in it because he said you can send off to 2 different people, same person, and you'll get 2 different readings, 2 different results. So he does not believe in it.
That's the general consensus.
Yeah.
It's better than a blood test.
Yeah. So. Not a problem. Any other questions? Want to make sure everybody has all their questions answered.
How long did it?
Somebody with a lot of gut issues, would you send them home with the 4-hour first and then come back and do the
Oh,
detox?
no, we pump them up with glutamine, vitamin D, do the
Right.
whole gut,
But then wait to do the detox after.
Nope, we start 'em on the detox. If we know they have gut issues, we're gonna start them on Inflamex immediately, Ultraflora, glutamine, vitamin D, we're definitely gonna take action in that. So,
When you're loading them with iodine, is it a tablet or?
it's actually it's a dropper, yeah. So they'll do like a half a dropper 3
Under the
times a day.
tongue or what?
In the mouth, doesn't matter where, so.
Did you do
and
the malabsorption test?
The what?
The malabsorption test with the Indican?
The Oxidato, I really use only on, to be honest, cancer patients or really sick patients that we think, because if somebody's training 5 times a week, they're gonna have it really high. And it's, definitely the stress on your cells. So, it would tell, if someone's high, it's not a good thing, but if they're training 5 times a week, then you're kind of gonna expect it. And then one thing I did forget is the zinc tally. We do test this, 10 cc's of it, and then we tell them to swish in their mouth. Go ahead.
Does it matter when you do that in the sequence?
No,
Alright.
no. So swish for 5 seconds, and we're gonna rate the taste. 0 tasting like water, 10 tasting like a heavy, heavy metallic taste. Just like, after a couple seconds, just like water. Okay. My first time of doing it, it tasted like water. Now I couldn't even hold it in my mouth for 3 seconds. Yeah.
So you need some zinc.
You did the malabsorption test for the
Dysbiosis.
Indican is no longer, it's actually been discontinued. The disposure of it was not done right, and I guess we never knew that because they never indicated it. But I do miss that one because it definitely does tell us, about the gut and what kind of bugs are living in your gut since we have over 500 kinds. So, anything else?
So is Bob doing any, pulse fuel tests or anything like that?
No, and if we need those, you go through Genova testing, I believe, for stool and, parasites and stuff like that. Yes.
Did you do the oxidator?
No, we don't do that on all of them, just because we just barely use it. Dr. Rakowski will say, nah, we don't need that one, and, it just depends on the person. Am I gonna do it on a cancer patient? Absolutely.
Can we just run
Because
through
the damage
them?
of the free radical cells.
Can we just run through them real quick one more time?
Okay. So,
Get good video.
what do you mean, run through them one more time?
Yeah, just kind of go through them one more time. I mean,
Just
just seen
name
them
them?
once. Yeah, just name them, do what you're doing.
Okay, so,
The name of the test and procedure, I guess.
the vitamin C,
Yeah, just,
5 drops of the C, and then you're gonna start adding the urine until it turns clear. That's the vitamin C.
That's the one that needs to be refrigerated?
That's the one that needs to be refrigerated. So I always refrigerate my zinc, vitamin C, and then my lemon juice, of course.
And so
And-
what is that vitamin C test telling you?
That's a stress indicator.
Okay.
If you're really stressed, your body's gonna kick out more C. But once again, it's the bell-shaped curve, but normally if you're under high stress, your body's gonna kick it out.
So the more drops it takes, the more
The
stress.
high
you are.
stress, yeah.
Those other 2 machines you have in there, what are, I bought them both, I have no idea what to do with them, but, what do they test?
They test hemoglobin A1C, and then they test your ALT, AST, and then your lipid glucose.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get the whole 9 yards, yep.
How much are those tests for those machines?
I wouldn't.
Oh, that's the,
You can get them through my PSS, which is where they get all their supplies.
The cholesterol?
Yes.
And what my rep said was that he'll basically give you a free machine, if you just sign up with him.
We've gotten ours through PSS.
And he doesn't care about volume.
But I've heard that the ALT, AST is getting phased out for whatever
Yeah, 'cause
reason.
I bought mine on eBay.
Oh,
and
we've
then-
stocked
And then
up.
the guy came in and he's like, yeah, we don't even sell this anymore, it's worth this.
Yep, but yeah, you can go ahead and buy like 20 of them and you'll be good.
is that cholesterol?
Yes.
They discontinued
Okay,
it
so the
right now?
calcium buffer, remember, you always want it moderate. Clear
Liver
is
enzymes
not
are
good,
going-
high is not good.
Say that again?
The calcium buffer,
Okay.
you always want it moderate.
So they don't have the cassettes for it.
Oh, so they're going to do
When
a
you say
technology.
moderate, what do you mean by that?
Mildly cloudy. So you don't want it too cloudy and you do not want it clear. Because the calcium is one of the buffers of the acid, or the acid, I would say. Adrenal stress, we're gonna do for the chloride testing, we're gonna do 1 drop of the potassium chromate, 10 drops of your urine, and then you're gonna start counting the, the silver nitrate. And we're gonna keep doing drops until it's brick red. So, but if they go over 40, just stop at 40. There's no reason, you're just gonna be, wasting solution. Urinary sugar test, once again, you're gonna put 35 milliliters of water, add 1 pipette of urine, swish your little meter in there, and, take that number that it says, times it by 40. And that's what your electrolytes would be. Did I say urinary sugar?
You said, yeah, sugar.
Yeah, that's
No, I meant electrolytes, I'm sorry.
Electrolytes and then sugar.
Urinary sugars is this cool gadget, 2 drops of urine, look through it, write it down. And remember, if your electrolytes are over 14, you always want to go to this chart that you will get. Urinary nitrates and ammonia, remember ammonia is for liver and bowel toxicity. You always want to see it, as Dr. Bob would say, a pretty yellow. You do not want it too dark because that's, definitely an indicator of toxicity.
Say that again. What do you want to see of it?
We want to see a 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. That's.
You don't want to see it brown, right?
We do not want to see it brown. Nitrate, we want to see definitely like 3 to 6 on just an average person, but on somebody that trains really hard, we want to see it high. If they're training really hard and it's really low, you know that their system is burning out. Saliva pH, like I told him, do your baseline. After your baseline, you're going to do half and half of lemon water and distilled water. Swish it in your mouth for 5 seconds, followed by an immediate strip. And then after, every minute, you're going to do it. Zinc tally test, swish in your mouth, 5 seconds, rate the taste. 0 tasting like water, 10 tasting like it's heavy metals in your mouth, Some people are like, it's like pennies in my mouth. When you put pennies in your mouth. So, but that's basically it. And if you guys, decide to do it, at any time have a later question, I'll be here tomorrow. I'm at the office. I do not mind answering some questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all for staying around. Ooh,